Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to take a peek inside the creative engine of Nicholas Alexander Benson. We're literally going to walk through a single day in his life, September 1st, 2025 to be exact, just to see how an idea gets born, how it gets processed, and finally, how it gets shared. Let's follow that spark from the very beginning to the very end.
And it all really starts with this one big question, It's something every creative person has to deal with. How do you take something that's not even tangible, something as slippery and quick as a dream, and actually turn it into something real? For Nicholas, the answer isn't just some abstract idea. It's what he does every single day.
And this is where his day begins. It's not with some blaring alarm clock, but with an image, an idea, born straight out of a lucid dream. For Nicholas, this isn't just a cool picture. It's the actual raw material for the entire day of creative work that's about to unfold.
So the clock hits 6 a.m. and the process is already kicking off. The very first, and you could say the most critical step, is getting that dream down on paper before it just vanishes. And this isn't just, passively trying to remember it. It's an active process of logging every detail from a world he's apparently been visiting for months.
What's so powerful here is just how specific he gets. He doesn't just jot down, "I had a weird dream." No, he captures that weird feeling, that compulsion to eat this thing, the object's strange texture. He even gives it a name, a Morgellon egg. And this single, bizarre sentence becomes the seed for everything else that happens that day. Okay, so how does that one weird sentence just expand into so much more? Well, it's all thanks to what we can call his dream engine. This is his personal system for taking that one single raw idea and just rapidly transforming it into multiple, totally distinct creative works. Check this out. It's like his own personal four-step creative pipeline. First, he logs the dream. Then he creates art to actually see it. After that, he produces a podcast to analyze what it all means. And finally, he composes a song to give it a voice. It's a system designed to squeeze every last ounce of creative juice from a single idea. So one dream becomes 4 different things. So then, in the Dreamcast, an AI partner actually helps him analyze the dream symbolism. And the analysis is so sharp, it connects his real-life habit of consuming new media to the dream act of eating that weird egg. It's almost like his subconscious is warning him, Be careful what you let inside. It's just a fascinating layer of self-analysis. And then, the final piece of this whole dream engine, he turns the experience into music. Just listen to how the lyrics turn these bizarre details like fleshy stone into a catchy hook. He takes the absolute strangest parts of the dream and makes them rhythmic, tangible. He's literally making art out of a nightmare.
So that's how he processes his own internal world, right? But now let's look at how that mixes with everything coming from the outside. Because, a creator doesn't just exist in a bubble. For Nicholas, new ideas are constantly being fueled by what he's reading, what he's watching, and who he's talking to.
And you can see that process happen right here. He's reading an issue of Galaxy Girl, and this tiny detail just catches his eye. A character's powers are tied to her excitement. That one little spark, the idea of powers being linked to emotion, becomes the core concept for the comic he's going to create later that same day. And inspiration, it doesn't just come from comics or movies, it comes from people. During a shake date with his partner Ashley, a whole new character concept just pops into existence, Poppy. She's a writer inside the story who's manipulating events just to keep her own comic series from ever ending. I mean, what a brilliant meta idea born from just a simple conversation. Okay, so with all this input swirling around, from dreams, from comics, from conversations, it's time for the day's main event. Channeling all of that into one single, focused project. And today, that project is a 3-page comic called Last Reunion. And this is where that little spark he got from reading Galaxy Girl just explodes into a full-blown story. The emotional weight here is huge. It's this tragic reunion where her powers, now tied to her grief and her memories, lead directly to his sacrifice. It's a complete, absolutely heart-wrenching story, and he created it in a single afternoon. But look, the creative process isn't really done when the last panel is drawn. The final step, and you could argue it's one of the most important, is getting it out there. This is the moment where the solitary act of creating something becomes a shared communal experience. He finishes Last Reunion, publishes it, and boom, immediately posts it to his Discord, and the conversation kicks off right away. This isn't just, shouting into the void. It's an active dialogue with an audience that's engaged and giving him feedback in real time. And I mean, how powerful is getting feedback like this, right? This user, Bit3, didn't just like the experimental dialogue, they called it a clear improvement. This is the kind of fuel that keeps a creator going, that validation that the new things you're trying are actually working and connecting with people. Of course, a day like this doesn't just happen by accident. Not at all. It's the result of just relentless consistency. And this one image, it captures that dedication perfectly. It's not about having one big burst of inspiration. It's about showing up day after day, week after week. 130. Let that sink in. That's every single week for 2.5 years straight. That is the real engine behind the art.
So, after seeing a dream literally become a piece of art, an observation become a story, and a creation become a conversation, it kind of leaves you with one final thought, doesn't it? We all have those little sparks of inspiration hit us all day long. The real question is, which one are you going to choose to grab onto and create something with today?